St. Oiving!
Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
Oiving!
Well, what a pleasure it is to be back with the Crusaders. Usually I come from Miami Beach, but I just had to visit my mishpacha, my family, in Minsk. And I told you Minsk is about 6 miles south of Minsk. And people ask me, what is Minsk like? And it's the shtetl, a village. And we have a lot of characters there, that, like any other. And I thought maybe you'd be interested in learning about some of the characters from Minsk. The first one I'd like to tell you about is my friend Mendel. Now, Mendel works at the deli. We have a wonderful deli, the pastrami, that kind of so thin you can practically see through it. It's delish. And Mendel, he worked there for many years. It was his pride. And one day I see Mendel's coming home, his chin's to the ground, very sad. And I say, why so glum, chum? He said, I got fired from the deli. You got fired from the deli? What could you have done? He said, oh, I got caught with my finger in the pickle slicer. They fired you for getting your finger caught in the pickle slicer? Oh, yeah. And they fired her too. I must tell you this. Mrs. Oiving has not approved of my stories. I have to give a disclaimer here. Then there's our esteemed Rabbi Zaitchuk. He's been a very good rabbi for many, many years. And I had a time to chat with him, and I said, tell me, Rabbi, you've seen many things. What's the most unusual thing you've ever seen? He says, well, you know Schneider, the tailor, the old man? He comes up to me, he says, Rabbi, I've been a faithful member of your congregation for many years. I've attended every minyan when it was required. I've lived my life according to the Torah. And as you know, I've never married, never had any children to carry more my name. I would like you to bar mitzvah my dog. And your dog, and the dog's name was, what was his name? Strudel. I guess food is always on his mind. I said, no, that's ridiculous. They make a disgrace to the religion. I couldn't do that. He said, oh, please, Rabbi, I've never asked you for anything. Please, strudel is my pride and joy. I said, it's a shunda, it's a disgrace. I'll be the laughing stock of all the rabbis. He said, Rabbi, I've led a modest life. I'm not a rich man, but I'm not a poor man either. And I do have 20 million rubles, and if you can't buy mitzvah strudel, I'm going to leave it to St. Peter's Church down by the square. And the rabbi says, oh, I didn't know strudel was a Jewish dog. Okay. Next one is Fievel. And only a few select people will probably get this joke, but I like it anyway. Fievel, when he was 8 years old, he said to his papa, Father, I'd like to become a musician. I'd like to be like Mike Campanella. A musician, well, it's a fine thing to do. You can bring joy to people's lives. You could be a klezmorum. It's a fine thing. You won't make much money, but you bring lots of joy. He said, maybe you like to play a violin. Violin can make people cry. They can make them laugh. It's a wonderful instrument. He said, no, Papa. Violin is not for me. He said, well, how about a clarinet? Clarinet, it's like the sound of people laughing. Every klezmer band has a clarinet. No, Papa. Clarinet is not for me. Oh, what do you want to play? I want to play a tuba. A tuba! So his papa found the best tuba player around. He had to travel though. So he went into town, took his lesson, came home, his papa said, well, what did you learn? I learned to play middle C. And all week long, he practices middle C. Next week he goes into town, comes back in the middle afternoon. His father says, well, what did you learn now? Now I can play a G all week long. Third week he goes into town. His father's waiting for him to come home. 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. He doesn't come home. Finally, 10 o'clock, he shows up. His father says, where have you been all day? I waited all afternoon for you. He said, I had a gig. Explain it real quick.
I would never disparage anyone who plays a lower brass instrument.
Then there is Moshe. Moshe is a friend of my cousin Shlomo. He's the woman's man of the shtetl. His nickname is the Kosher Casanova. He's bragged that he shook more of the young women in the village than anybody. One day, well, this is the guy you keep your doctor locked up, and your daughter locked up, maybe even your wife locked up, maybe even your pets. But anyway, one day I see him walking down the street, very disheveled, he had bags under his eyes, his hair was all messed up, he looked terrible. I said, Moshe, what happened to you? He said, well, last night I slept with the Shapiro twins. Twins! Aha, you dirty little son of a gun. What was it like? Was it hard to tell them apart? He said, not really. The brother, he's got a mustache.
Excuse me, St. Oiving, I just want to let you know your special guest has arrived.
Oh, okay. Well, you know that Christmas comes December 25th, and Hanukkah, it varies because we have a Meshugana calendar, the Jewish, and sometimes, last year it even came in November. But December the 13th is also a special day. It is the feast of St. Lucia. St. Lucia is a saint in the Scandinavian countries, particularly Sweden. And until they changed the calendar, that was the longest day of winter. It was very dark. St. Lucia would bring light, and she would bring her saffron buns to all the houses of the village. And we have St. Lucia making a guest appearance, and maybe you check out her buns. So I think if we go 3 times, if we say, Yoo-hoo, St. Lucia, she may make an appearance. Follow me. 1, 2, 3. Yoo-hoo, St. Lucia. Yoo-hoo, St. Lucia. Yoo-hoo, St. Lucia. There she is. Now, I have a little secret about St. Lucia, but everyone here must promise to keep it a secret. She wasn't always known as St. Lucia. She was once known as Sylvia Mandelbaum, who taught ballroom dancing in Hyde Park, not far from here. And if you carefully lift up your tablecloth, you can see her in action. So take a look and see if you can find her. Try not to spill your drinks.
What are we looking for?